Pressure profiling on the Marzocco GS3. 3 bar, 6 bar, 9 bar. What does it taste like? Hang about and I'll show you my results. Hey guys, welcome back to the Artistic YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to answer a few questions that we've had over time about pressure profiling and how does that taste when you're looking at putting 3 bar, 6 bar or 9 bar pressure on coffee. So I'm going to run through a basic test. There are some parameters here that I'm standardizing to ensure that I give you, I guess, the best information I can that is streamlined and relevant, rather than going really techie, because there are so many factors that you would change when you change pressure as opposed to the grind and the dose and all of those other factors in there, including water temperatures. So what I'm going to do for this range of tests is I'm going to do an espresso and a milk based for 3 bar, 6 bar, 9 bar. I'm going to record what they taste like. And as a standard, I'm going to use the same water temperature, being 92.5 degrees, and we're going to use a 22.5 gram dose, but we're going to keep it the same grind setting. I'm not going to change coarseness or fineness when we go to a lower bar pressure or a higher bar pressure, because that's a whole different world. So what I'm going to be assessing in each cup is the aroma, the acidity, the sweetness, the body, the finish, and the overall flavor. And I'm just going to give that a score out of 10. So time to make some coffee. So I'm going to start by doing a 3 bar extraction, and then I'll go to 6 and 9. So I'm just weighing out the grind, getting a standard there to 22.5 is what we're aiming for. Across all of these, 22.7, I'm pretty sure that will be our standard moving forward. So we're just using our dosing pots here. It helps us move the coffee from the scale straight in. Just a little pre-distribution before we're using an OCD. If you haven't used one of these before, it just levels out the coffee and helps get a nice flat surface before you go and tamp. We use flat tampers. I really like the space that that's creating before the water comes onto that coffee puck. Nice and flat and level, and we're ready to go. So we're going to be achieving a 1 to 2 ratio. So we've got 22.5 grams coffee. So I'm going to get 22.5 grams out that left-hand side. And that's going to be our standard for our espresso base, for milk and for us to sample as espresso. Right, so very close. I got 22.1, so 0.4 of a gram. I don't think we're going to taste that. So we'll do up some milk. I'm going to keep that milk a little bit cooler. I'm going to leave it at 60 degrees. I find that's always a good temperature for me to be able to taste milk and coffee together and not be too hot. You can see not as much crema there in a 3 bar, but it can be really surprising the flavour you're going to get out of this. Alright, let's go and taste it. Just in my results, if you can see on the paper, the blue is going to be my espresso results and the milk is going to be in black pen. All right, let's go give the 6 bar extra. Oh, just need a fraction more on that one. Great, 22.7. So to explain what coffee that we're using, we're actually using our delicate blend. Now this is our organic coffee. It's a 3-bean blend and it's roasted medium light. So we're not trying to have something here that's going to knock our socks off or have huge bitterness. We are looking for a few more of those subtle flavors. It's not a filter roast because that would be a very different experiment. So this is closest to what we'd like in an espresso roast. All right, here we go again. Okay, straight up to 6 bar. So you can already see there's a lot more crema that's coming out here with that extra pressure. It's a faster extraction because of that pressure as well. And bang on the money, 22.5 or 22.6, so 0.1 of a gram out. So same results as the other one. Let's go and taste it. Bit of a floating heart there for you. Can't pick what that is. There's a really nice light fruit that's coming through there, and I just don't have my colour wheel here to be able to pinpoint what that flavour is. But I will try and put that in the notes below afterwards, guys. All right, so let's go and try the 9-bar extraction and see what results we get. Now, I know you're going to say something about me picking out the coffee grinds with my fingers. I'm drinking the coffee. I don't have a problem with it. But maybe use a teaspoon if somebody else is going to be drinking this. All right, this is the easy one, just straight up to 9-bar. Again, a much richer colour there at the start, that really dark colours, which is a lot of the sugars coming out with that high heat and high pressure. .2. All right, so very, very close again, guys. We'll get some milk into this one. A lot more crema there just to be able to pour into with our milk. So let's taste the 9-bar pressure extractions. So I want to put it out there. I have never done this with this coffee, and it's actually given me some really interesting results because I usually have 1 milk coffee in the morning and then I drink black for the rest of the day. And I'm starting to see a few things in my own palate that make me change the way I want to make my black coffee and how I want to change for my milk coffee. Now, I know what I've been doing on my GS3 for a while, since being able to get the pressure profiling in milk. And I'm not going to tell you what I do just yet, but these results are really a bit of an eye-opener for you as a person to understand, do I like more body? Do I want more citrus? Do I want more acidity? And hopefully these results will help you understand what kind of coffee you're looking for and whether pressure profiling is something that's going to help you. So what I'm going to look at first is your 3-bar espresso. I've rated that with a higher aroma, with a medium to high acidity, medium sweetness, and bangs back in the middle there for body, with quite a long finish that was coming in my mouth and staying there. Now that acidity was actually a positive acidity. So in espresso, some people like that. and others don't. But I don't mind a little bit of zing and a bit of zip there in espresso. The flavors that were coming through were citrus, grape, and I'm saying like a toasted sort of flavor just starting to make its way through, but it almost ended up a bit more like a bit of a prune kind of taste in there as well. So when we then go to look at the 6-bar espresso, the aroma was a little bit higher, just by a fraction. The acidity was higher again, and I found that was actually more a negative that was happening in this coffee. The sweetness was actually a little bit lower, and the body was actually just a little bit lower as well. So there's a few things as the pressure is being applied, it's starting to change a bit of the chemicals and reactions that are happening in that coffee. The overall finish was a lot shorter in that in the mouthfeel and the taste and what was lingering in my mouth. That actually had higher citrus that was coming through, slight toasty notes. They weren't as pronounced, and this toffee flavor just started to come through. So like probably a very caramel style toffee, not that dark toffee when people burn them and make the little lollies out of them. When we look at the 9-bar espresso, I found the aroma to be the same as the 3-bar. The acidity was just coming back a little bit, which was a bit of a positive, I think, because the sweetness in this was coming up. So it was a little bit more balanced for me. The body was definitely higher out of all of them. And the viscosity that was coming through in the actual liquid, there was definitely that thicker sort of syrupiness that was coming through in that espresso. And to note, we were getting a lot more crema as we went from 6-bar up to 9-bar as well. The finish was a little bit longer again, and I think that was actually quite a positive. It was a lot smoother. There was a couple of different little flavors that were making me trying to work out what I was actually tasting as it sat in my mouth a little bit longer. So I'm saying it's got a very balanced, full flavor at 9-bar. And it started from a citrus and sort of ended up around this nice dark berry. Couldn't really pick exactly, but maybe like a blackberry or something like that. It's not into that stewed fruits sort of area just yet, but you're generally going to get that in a bit of a darker roast coffee than this profile that we've got. So overall, for me in espresso, I ranked the 9-bar espresso 9 out of 10. And I put the 6-bar at 8 out of 10, and I put the 3-bar espresso at 6 out of 10. So for me, I guess I've been drinking espressos for a long time, and they've been that 9-bar pressure from start to finish. I love that body, that syrupy, that thickness that really comes when you get that, that higher pressure and the sugars are coming out of the coffee. When I drink espresso myself, I've got a rule of drinking it in 3s. I drink the top layer, the middle, and then when I finish, I just want that thick syrupiness just to coat my teeth and stay on my tongue for ages. So that's the kind of espresso that I enjoy. And I think that's why that's happened in the results here. So yeah, overall, I'm enjoying that traditional style 9-bar espresso. Right, so now let's go have a look at the milk-based coffees that we've had. The 3-bar milk coffee had, look, I put a medium aroma. To be honest, for me, when we put milk with any sort of coffee, I really struggle to get an aroma that comes out, because to me, the dairy sweetness overrides it, and I'm not really getting anything from that coffee, to be honest. So on all of these, I'd say the aroma for milk is the same. When we look at the acidity back in the 3-bar, it's right in the middle. It wasn't too much or too little. It was just enough there to help cut through that dairy. The sweetness for me was just going up a little bit. I put that at about 70% on the scale, and the finish was definitely long. It sat around for a long time, and the body wasn't overpowering. It was definitely, from a flavor perspective, a buttery caramel and just really smooth, easy drinking coffee that had quite a complexity that was actually coming through. So I really did enjoy that style of coffee. When we look at the 6-bar extraction, the aroma, again, pretty much the same. The acidity was just a little bit higher. I found the sweetness just to be a little bit higher again, probably around that 65%. The body was just starting to creep up in this, in the milk, so it wasn't overpowering the milk, but it was just noticeable that there was an intensity that was starting to come through in that coffee. And the finish was actually just getting a little bit shorter. So it was not hanging around in my mouth as long, and I think the dairy was probably overpowering. So I was getting a bit of that milk taste that sort of coats your mouth after you've had a milk coffee. I'd say there was a very light fruit that was coming through at the start with a caramel and not quite toffee, but I'd probably even say caramel to sort of raw sugar sort of taste starting to come through in that coffee. And in the 9-bar, the aroma, again, just right down the middle. The acidity was a little bit lower. The sweetness was actually a little bit lower. The body was starting to come a bit higher, probably around 80%. And the finish was it just stopped, to be honest. There was nothing that was really hanging around in my mouth. It didn't feel like I've drunk a coffee, but I felt like I'd had my flavor kick, but then it just disappeared. It wasn't going to hang around with me all morning. It was definitely a smooth cup, good body, good balance, a bit of hazelnut, praline, a bit of a milk chocolate kind of flavor that was coming through as well. So all round, a very balanced cup with the milk. So I was quite happy with that. When I'm ranking these out of coffees, I put the 3-bar extraction as my top milk coffee. I gave that a 9 out of 10. Second was my 9-bar extraction. I gave that an 8 out of 10, and then 6-bar came in at 7. And I think that's because since having this machine, I've been able to play a little bit with that profile and the pressure. I seem to be heading in my own flavor profile, looking for that real buttery, creamy, smooth sort of coffee that I'm getting from this 3-bar extraction at the moment. So that's what I'm enjoying. And I know that's pretty biased, and you know, this test is how I taste coffee and how I enjoy coffee. But hopefully it gives you an idea of what's going to happen when you do start to play with pressure profiling. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed that little experiment. I hope you got a little bit out of it and an understanding of my flavor tastes and what I enjoy about coffee, and also my palate. So if you've got any questions about pressure profiling, I'd love to hear more. Start this discussion down the bottom in the comments. You know, are you a 9-bar? Are you a 6-bar or a 3-bar kind of person? Let us know. Let's dive deep into this and find out what there is to know more about this topic. So that's definitely enough coffee for me today. I'm feeling a little bit buzzy, you know, tasting 6 coffees and a morning coffee this morning, and it's still early. So guys, my word of warning is if you are going to taste a bit of coffee, make sure you have some food, have some water, because it can affect you for the rest of the day. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Have an awesome day. Catch you soon.